Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today we are getting into the Easter updates, which strangely uploaded into the game one day late. I'm not exactly sure why this happened, guys. Maybe they'll say in the notices, but that being said, I'm excited to get into it. So let's go over here to the notices and we will check it out. Alright, so I'm going to go down to the bottom. I missed the news updates on Monday. Guild War was pretty brutal one, I think. I think a lot of you guys out there can relate. It was a pretty tough battle, so great work everyone out there. It was a tough one, but I took off Monday, so let's just go down here to April 3rd. I think this is where everything's starting right here. Alright, so Final Fantasy VII EC Spring Campaign on now. So this is going to be what looks like the Easter campaign or Spring campaign. Let's see here. Alright, so daily free 10 draw up to 140 draws. Always great for me. Let's keep going down. Final Fantasy VII EC Spring login bonus. Login to get up to Astro Win times 20. Mako Gem, Durandal times 10 and more every week. So this must be Zack's new ultimate weapon, which I'm excited to check out. Finally, Zack is getting some love again. Alright, so hopefully it's some good love. Hopefully he gets a good ultimate weapon. As of April 3rd, the Final Fantasy VII EC Spring Packs are for sale now. Hopefully they have something new in there. Get a 5-star weapon guaranteed draw ticket, weapon parts voucher times 150, weapon parts voucher times 150? What? That's legit. That's really good. That is surprisingly good, guys. I'm amped on that. Wow. That is not tip. I mean, I like it. I am all for it. All right, so here we are. Event Egg Hunt Battle. Revenge of the I almost said the Blueberry. Revenge of the Bunberry on now. All right, so this looks like it is the new event. Angeal is getting his new event weapon, Blade of the Hunt. Actually looks pretty cool. I like the weapon right here. I wish these event weapons were more useful these days. I feel like if you're a newer player, if you're joining the game, they definitely are. But I think for any day one player, like, I can't remember the last time I used an event weapon in a team setup, guys. It's been a while. So there was a point in time where I thought they were absolutely necessary for the account. But these days, especially in the upper high-end content, like the harder bosses, I feel like they're not. So I feel like they should make them a little bit more accessible. Maybe I'm wrong. Curious what you guys think about that. Alright, let's go. As of April 3rd, the Zack new weapon feature draw is on now. Alright, all featured new weapon and gear, excluding ultimate weapons from the Zack new weapon feature draw, are eligible to receive a reward bonus from Egg Hunt Battle. Revenge of the Bunberry. Due to the reward bonus effect, the amount of obtainable blah 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 increases. Alright, so there's a bonus thing for this event, yada yada yada. Here's the wallpaper, Revenge of the Bunberry. That's pretty cute. I like that little Tonberry, although it looks super evil hiding there in its little cloak. Alright, so let's see what else we got here. Escalation Challenge Bunberry on now. Interesting. So there's a new Escalation Challenge. Interesting. As of April 3rd, the event Escalation Challenge Bunberry is on now. The content will be unlocked by clearing Bunberry EX1 solo from the event Egg Hunt Battle. Revenge of the Bunberry. The Escalation Challenge will only be held for solo battles. Okay, I think that makes sense. Alright, the higher the escalation, the more the enemy stats increase, so I'm guessing this is going to be pretty similar to the Odin battle, hopefully, you know, pretty challenging. I'm curious, like, what elements this is going to be. This is actually really surprising that we're getting another one so fast. In battles where the escalation level is 20 or lower, you can obtain items such as escalation metal, mithril ingots, etc. So this one does go up to 30. Alright, that's pretty crazy. Alright, I'm curious what the element is for that. Alright, so we have Zack new weapon feature draw on now. Alright, so Zack's new weapon is here. It looks like this is the ultimate weapon, the Durandal. That looks pretty cool. And then this looks like the new weapon on the banner. Let's take a look at this. Let's see here. Alright, Zack's new weapon, Sword of the Hunt. ATB 4 cost, command ability, Ice Arc. It is a ice element weapon. Inflicts up to 800% magic ice damage upon all enemies, plus grants caster an exploit weakness when caster's HP is 50% or more. Alright, interesting. So Zack is getting his exploit weakness weapon. He is slowly making his comeback as a DPS. We're going to have to check out his ultimate weapon, and let's see here. New gear, Rabbit Butler. All right, that's an interesting one right there. First of one, our ability, boost HP. That seems a little lackluster for a costume R ability for these days. Normally it would have like Sun's Favor, a mixture of HP and physical defense, or an HP and magic defense, but just HP, this better be like a 20% boost right here. And then we have Butler Rabbit Ears, alright, which boosts fire, ice, lightning, earth, water, and wind ability damage, guys. So we just got another Omni-Arcanum costume. That is absolutely insane. I know that anyone who pulled for the Beatrix sword is going to be absolutely amped right now, because this just got you your Wind Arcanum, along with an Arcanum for basically any other element for him, which is pretty dang cool. He doesn't have too many DPS weapons, that's the kind of problem here. Then we have some Reawakened gear, Kate Sith's Party Jacket, buff debuff extension update, so now it's at 15 points instead of 10, so we'll have to, I wonder if that basically makes it the equivalent of a buff debuff extension plus or not. Probably pretty close. Critical Potency Arcanum boosts critical damage, and then Lucia's buff debuff extension. Also, I guess this we'll have to really check this to see if the plus is, you know, the equivalent of these 5 points right here. All right, so that's pretty cool if you guys have those costumes. Here is his ultimate weapon, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for Angeal's, but it is cool to get Zack's. So here is Durandal, uses 3, command ability Ray Blade. Alright, weapon does look pretty cool. Inflicts 2000% non-elemental physical and magic damage upon a single enemy, plus increases caster's ATB gauge by +3, and drastically increases physical and magic attack. So definitely not a bad weapon. I do prefer the haste on Tifa's as opposed to the ATB jump. I think this is definitely better than Yuffie's. Yuffie's, I think, is like almost impossible to use it without wasting ATB. So this one is 3. It's going to definitely be easier to time it so that you don't waste ATB. Plus the drastic increase to physical and magic attack is also pretty cool. I want to see the durations on these as well. Alright, here is the wallpaper Rabbit Butler right here. As you guys can see, it is Zack fully decked out in his butler costume with his little rabbit ears, so that one's pretty fun. Let's go up. There's a 1 loop only Final Fantasy VII EC Spring step up draw on now. Alright, is there a free part in this? Draw for free at step 3, dang it. So for me, oh wow, weapon part voucher times 100 is included as a bonus, but all the way to 7 for that. So it is like rainbow parts, so like any character part. So we'll take a look at that as well in this video. Then we have co-op battles, Ifrit, Shiva, and Ramuh on now. Wow, guys, so if you need to finish any of these summons, now is going to be the time. Or Ifrit and Shiva and Ramuh. Alright, so Ifrit April 3rd through April 14th, and Shiva and Ramuh is also going to have that same timeline, guys. I think I need to finish Ifrit's nodes, actually, if I remember correctly. Alright, and here we have the April co-op content schedule. Alright, so I'm not going to go through all of these, but you guys can check it out right here. It does look like it's changing every week. I don't really see anything where, you know, if you guys haven't done these first time quests for the crystals, you're definitely going to want to get in there and do those for that. I think I've finished all of these co-ops, so I'm not really too super keen on it. This is what's good though. So each week we're going to be getting Sephiroth specific weapon parts, then Matt, then Zack, then Yuffie. Alright, which is good to have. Definitely don't forget to go in there and grab those. So let's go over to the shop. Let's see what's going on in here. Alright, so here is the EC Spring Pack. Alright, so it does look like the same old stuff in here. Nothing crazy, nothing new. Alright, I think there's, oh yeah, this is the spring one. So this is exactly what they were talking about. This is basically just the Zack banner shop pack. So let's go over to the draw. Actually, let's take a look at the ultimate weapon. Let's take a closer look at the ultimate weapon real quick, guys. Alright, so we go to the Mako Gem Exchange. Where's Zack? He's down here. Alright, here it is, the Durandal. Let's look at it, level 120. Alright, 206 physical attack, 203 magic attack. Alright. So it is 3 casts like we saw earlier, plus 3 ATB gauge self. Physical attack is increased high, duration 30 seconds. Magic attack is increased high, duration 30 seconds. And here we have boost ability potency 20 right here. Alright, not bad. And interruption exploit weakness. So this is a new one. Applies exploit weakness to self when interrupting enemy. So like after a sigil break, right? Potency 40%, duration 30 seconds, extension 30 seconds. That is pretty interesting. You're probably already going to be running exploit weakness throughout the battle. So most of the time I'm guessing this is going to give you an extension. However, if you're going into a longer sigil break and you lose the exploit weakness while you're in that sigil break phase, then this is actually pretty good, because the moment you break the enemy's sigil phase, you don't have to first rebuff or worry about rebuffing in the sigil phase. It will immediately rebuff exploit weakness on you, and you can just go straight to town on the damage. So that's actually pretty cool. I like that. I still think Tifa's ultimate weapon is the best though, and I'm really curious to see what Cloud's is going to be. Alright, so let's jump over to the banner, and then we'll wrap it up for the Thursday patch updates. Alright, so let's go over here and let's check out the animation for his weapon real quick. Alright, so not the coolest one. Let's try on this costume. Alright, let's take a look here. Well guys, if you've always dreamed of seeing Zack in a butler costume, your dream has come true, and he's even got the little bunny tail on him. For me personally, I like, you know, more warrior-esque costumes, so seeing Zack in a butler costume doesn't really do much for me. It's definitely not my favorite costume, but you know, like for a butler costume, I'd say it's pretty classy. He does look pretty elegant, and the sword itself is pretty sick, although it doesn't really look too much like it looks more like a blunt weapon, to be honest. Rather than a sword. I mean, it's got an edge on it, I suppose. But yeah, I do like the overall vibe of this right here. I do like the sword. I think it does look pretty cool. Alright, now let's check out the costume. Alright, we gotta, we'll take a quick look. Just OB6 on the weapon. It's gonna be attack at OB10, 62 over 39. That is very good. Attack over boost ability potency. Alright, the exploit weakness at OB6 is 35%, 35% at OB10, and 25% at OB1. Support abilities are pretty basic, and the costume, what is it right here? 10 points, 15%. Honestly, first R ability, kind of fallen short for me, guys. I feel like this could have been better. It could have been like Sun's Favor or any of those other ones, or something more interesting, or HP plus physical defense, or HP plus magic defense, or anything, or at least hitting, you know, the, I guess 30% HP would have been a bit much. It would have been great. I would have loved it. But at least it's better than 5%. But 15% is not bad. HP is a good stat. Sometimes I've been finding myself kind of short on it. But then the Omni-Arcanum guys, I mean, you can't really go wrong. If you love Zack, this is a very, very, very good thing, I think, for him to have. And congrats to everyone who pulled for the Beatrix sword, you know, like 16 years ago. And now finally is getting a almost complete Wind Arcanum at the same time. So yeah, guys, I think, wait. Let's look at the step up. Alright, quick look at the step up. 1,000 on the first draw, 5-star weapon appearance rate times 2. So this whole thing is going to be 1,000, 3,000, 6,000. Wait. 1,000, 3,000. All right, so we're at 3,000. 6,000. 9,000. 12,000. Holy smokes, guys. Okay, so you will get 200 rainbow character weapon parts, but you have to spend 12,000 paid Visior, or not Visior, crystals, sorry, War of the Visions, frickin'. That's insane, because for 12k you could get 400 character specific weapon parts, right? Because it's like 3k for a shot pack and you get 100, and so you could get 4 of those, so that'd be 400. I mean, I know that some people are going to go for it because these are really valuable, but I just can't really recommend 12k. I think there's things way better to save it on, and most people know which characters they want parts for, and so they can just save for those characters. You don't necessarily need the rainbow parts. And I think we're already getting 150 of them from what I saw from the logins, so that's already super solid, guys. So anyways, guys, that is going to conclude the video for the night. I will be having a to pull or not to pull video for the Zack weapon, kind of overviewing the banner and taking a better look at it. That will be dropping tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video tonight. If you did, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.